Well, hello. I'm trying to think where we spoke last. I'm sure I'll get there in the end anyway. It is a lovely sunny day today, and I'm stood inside with a jumper on, so that on its own is a bad move, I think, because it's getting a bit warm. What are we on here? 24 degrees inside. I'm sure I'll be fine just to sort this out. Yeah. So I think last time we spoke, I had had the bad reaction and been told off royally for not telling the nurses. It took them a couple of days, I think, to get over that and to stop telling me off or checking that if I've had anything that I've gone to the nurses. So basically, I should take a baseline from before I started any treatment at all and go from there. If anything is worse than it is there, then I need to tell them. So that's been fun since then, and I'll get round to that in a minute. However, the being told many times that if it had gotten worse instead of better, it might have killed me, was enough for me to realise that I've got to start taking things seriously when it comes to stuff like that. But it did also make me think, because that's like 3 for 3, so 3 rounds of chemo, and 3 times there it's had a real bad reaction with me. It was the first time I was just rosy red cheeked and had a temp, and it was difficult to do anything. I was just sleeping the whole time. The second time I was admitted, and it did work out to be the antibiotics that were given to me from the first time that were causing the second time, but the chemo probably made that worse. So after that reaction, after leaving the hospital, had the chemo on the same day and had a bad reaction to that too. So there was that. And then the third time, where I could literally just feel myself tanking as we go, and I got the temperature and everything. So I just wanted to make sure that all the departments were talking, because I get to see the radiotherapy department a whole lot. So there's nurses there and the radiologists, who are all lovely. And I mean lovely. I've not met a person that just wasn't wonderful there. They're all so really nice, and they make you feel like nothing is ever really a big deal. That everything is fine to talk to them about, and it's lovely. But I did wonder whether the person who decided my treatment plan, my consultant, knew that I was having such a rough time. So I thought I'd pop an email to the radiotherapy nurse who works with my consultant, who's been absolutely wonderful as well. She came to visit me when I was an inpatient at the hospital that time, and it's just absolutely lovely. So I just sent her an email just saying I didn't know if the consultant knew this. It seems to be getting worse every time, and the thought of having more chemo was making me feel, I don't know, like I was going to cry. It was awful. I just, the thought of having to go back in again and do it all and not know, because I said to John, if we go in and have chemo again, we're just going to wait in the car park for a couple of hours, because it was always 2 or 3 hours afterwards. After we got here, we'd leave and come straight back. And at that point would be when I'd start tanking, and then we'd have a whole hour's drive to go back again. So we was like, if we're going to do it, we're going to stay in the car park and see what happens and blah. Anyway, I told her that and asked a couple of questions that I had. And I got an email back with about an hour or so from that, saying that she'd spoken to the consultant and they've decided to stop the chemotherapy. So at first I was like, I'm sorry, they're stopping what? Isn't that saving my life? You know, I don't get what the stop is. I thought, I don't know, a reduced dose, a different type, something that helps it out. I don't know. I don't know if there was something else there. But it was one of those ones where I had to remember that radiotherapy is the main treatment, and it's just chemotherapy that helps that radiotherapy work that little bit better. So there was lots of reassurance that it's absolutely fine to do that and then have the brachytherapy at the end, which I'm also not quite looking forward to, but I've not been looking forward to any of this, so, you know, it doesn't make a difference really. And yeah, and just to basically get in there and make sure that they knew all of this stuff about what I was thinking. But they're absolutely fine with it. I've spoken to the radiotherapy nurses and they're like, it is a normal thing. There's no normal, like we say, but it is not unheard of for people to have the chemotherapy stopped and to continue with the radiotherapy and brachytherapy. So I'm happy with that. And so far, the difference has been tremendous. I mean, I can't say I'm not suffering with stuff, but I feel a million times better than I did. So that I'm hoping for going forward is going to be still working nicely in my favour. And the brachytherapy, if you want to Google it and see what it is, I don't want to frighten some men on here with things. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. Yeah, that doesn't sound particularly brilliant, does it? But that's been booked in as well. The final day of my treatment is the 3rd of July. But I've had to extend my radiotherapy by a day because I missed a day. And this is the thing with, you know, telling people what's been going on. So I've got radiotherapy burns and they give you this lovely flammy gel. It's specially for radiotherapy because one thing I didn't know was that lots of things like Savlon and other bits like that, any pile cream, this is a wonders of all the treatment is what I get. Everything is bladder or bowel related or anything like that. They've got metals in them, so you've really got to be careful if you're having radiotherapy after putting all of this on there. So everything they give me are metal free, and I can use them around radiotherapy, which is good. So I've had to deal with burns, so I've had people staring at my downstairs regions again. It's just one of those things now where even, I must admit, she said, do you want me to take a look? And I'm just like, no, it's okay, because I have to drop my kecks for every treatment. I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing if they'll let me video one of the radiotherapies. I just want to keep my camera very far away, just so you can kind of see what happens in there. It depends. There's 2 radiotherapy nurses that I think will be okay with it. I just want to leave it on just so I can kind of show you. There'll be some censoring what it is. But yeah, every day I've got my trousers just below my bum cheeks and my jumper up here and a piece of paper for my dignity. So I'm kind of fed up with having to drop my trousers every time I speak to somebody about something. Yeah, it's I mean, it's a shame I don't have to lie on my front, because I don't know how many people know this out there, but I've got "Bite Me" tattooed on my arse. So, you know, that would be a fun thing for me to have to be flipped over, but unfortunately I have to lie on my back, so that never gets seen. Yeah, so that's the thing. You'll see the sticker on my van if ever you see it, and that's what the tattoo looks like. I think it was like the 5th I'd had real bad reflux. My reflux has come back with a thing, and they said that the chemotherapy and the radiotherapy affect your mucous membrane. So anything that's mucus related or anything that could be muscular in sphincter type ways can be affected. So I've had reflux for 5 years, and the very first time I had a reflux attack, I thought I was having a heart attack. So I have this, nothing is making this reflux go away. I've already got tablets for it, I've got Gaviscon, I've got all the things, literally nothing was working. So me being a good girl, so before the radiotherapy, the next day, I decided to speak to the nurse beforehand, because the thought of lying down for 30 minutes with reflux was absolutely awful. Because it was giving me a pain that went right in the middle there, wouldn't go away, was radiating out in my back and was coming up my throat. So put that into a little bit of context for heart pain. It's upper chest and upper back pain that radiates out. It wasn't radiating out to my shoulders or my arm, but it was in my throat and here, which they then said was my jaw. So because it was radiated into my jaw, they couldn't rule out anything cardiac related. I'd had an ECG, they'd done all my observations and everything was absolutely fine, but they refused to do my chemo until I went to A&E and got checked out for chest pains. So they called me an ambulance straight away, and I said, don't send an ambulance, look at me. You know, I'm in pain, but look at me. Is there not anywhere else I can do? I just need I mean, from what they were saying, it was just bloods and a little bit of observations. There's a phlebotomy lab, I walk past it every day. apparently there's something that stops that from happening at Castle Hill. So because there's no way I'm taking up a resource of an ambulance. So me and John jumped into John's van and drove to Hull Royal Infirmary and went to the A&E there. On their request, they wouldn't do any more radiotherapy for me until I got the all clear from somebody else. So that was a no-brainer. I had no choice but to go. So I'm sat there and I've got this awful pain still and I can't get comfy and I'm trying to move like this and it was awful. You know, God love the NHS, but 5.5 hours, almost 6 hours of sat in a busy accident and emergency. Turns out it's a good job it wasn't any cardiac pain or anything to do with that. Twice I was offered medication and it didn't turn up at all. And they even gave me I'm collecting these now, a little wristband, just so they could match up my meds to me when they brought it out, but nobody brought anything over to me and I didn't have anything left in my handbag to take. So it was an uncomfortable time for me and John just to sit there. I understand how it all works and I know that they are understaffed and underfunded and everyone there was also very lovely. And then I got to see the consultant there who confirmed it was just severe reflux, but he thinks I might actually have some parts where the acid has affected my throat. I might have a couple of little bits in here, which it is a cancer risk as well with that if you do get the burns in there. So it's something to make sure I'm looking at and getting healed up. So I've been given lansoprazole. I'm told to drink as much Gaviscon as I need. So I'm waiting for a prescription for that because that's blimmin' expensive. But in the meantime, I've had to order some off Amazon, which is funny. So after 5.5 hours or 6 hours or whatever of sitting in A&E, confirming it was reflux, I was sent away. It was about 8:30 at night. We got to Castle Hill Hospital for 10:30 that morning. So we've just been sat in hospitals all day again. I was exhausted. I need a nap. It is a nana nap is an essential thing for the day, so I was cranky. So we left there and John just literally took me straight to McDonald's because we hadn't eaten anything, and he's just like, whatever you can eat to get away with, because I've had to change what I'm eating again while this reflux flare up is here. So far I can't eat anything that's fun. You know, there's the whole just because your immunity is weak, you've got to make sure you eat like a pregnant lady. So no raw steak, no sushi, no runny eggs. Be very careful where I buy food from if I get it. Just got to be really careful with stuff like that and make sure all the food is fresh that I'm eating. Whereas I ride those best before dates like you wouldn't believe. So I've had to change that way a little bit. And now for reflux, it's no fizzy pop. I'm having no caffeine at all. I'm just on decaf. No chocolate. And a nice interesting fact, if you get reflux from chocolate, it's because it hits all the what's it called, all the receptors in your brain that make you feel really good. This is where my radiotherapy brain's coming in. Come on. Like dopamine or whatever, it hits all of those receptors and relaxes your muscle. And as soon as it relaxes the muscle because you feel so good because you've eaten chocolate because it's yummy, then it comes back up again. So there's a big old list. No fatty foods, no spicy foods. So yeah, it could be worse, you know, but it is what it is. And the more I'm restricted by things, the more I want to eat them. So yeah, that's an update anyway. So apart from having sore downstairs and reflux all the time, so I can't lie flat in bed, I'm not sleeping very well because of that, all the faffing, no chemo, which is definitely better, and I have upped my supplements, so I'm taking all the supplements that I possibly can that I know help with immunity and all the cancer things. I know nothing can be proven, but now I know that chemo is not going to be ravaging my body and killing everything off. I'm going to try and give it a helping chance and make sure I'm taking all those right things and do what I can. I am just literally drinking water and maybe a bit of juice if I can, and see what I can do for myself a bit here. So yeah, apart from all of that though, I mean, I don't know if I look better than I did last time. definitely feel it. So much so, get this, I did a work shift this morning. So it was 6 till 10. I was up at 5. I was up at 4:30 with reflux. Managed to get that sorted in time for my shift to start. Did my shift, did the 4 hours, and then went into John's van and fell asleep in his bed for an hour because I was absolutely knackered. But I am so pleased I managed to do it. I never wanted to be riding this thing out not working if I can. So that was a real nice thing. So it's a proper boost for me today. I definitely feel like if things keep going like this, I just have to deal with all the little things. It does feel like I can't catch a break. Like someone's got a voodoo doll. If it is anybody on here, I mean, please stop. You know, but I think there's somebody out there that's like, oh, Mandy's feeling better, quick, let's get her in a downstairs bits. No, let's get her in reflux or whatever. So, you know, it's I need to stop. Whoever's got the voodoo doll, put it down, please. Just give me a minute. But yeah, I've got to have an MRI on my head as well. I think that's on the that's the 18th of June. To have an MRI because of these funny feelings and the funny things with my vision, because a third consultant, maybe no, fourth consultant told me that it is migraines, it's not migraines, it is this, it's not this, blah blah blah. So they just want to check my head out, so I'm more than happy to let them. So yes, I've got that to look forward to as well. And I got a lovely surprise in the post as well. Someone sent me some flowers, and the flowers are absolutely beautiful. They're actually in the West Wing because it's too hot to keep them in the van. But they're in the West Wing, and it came with a lovely card with a bee on the front. And there was, I think there was a cheeky comment about my pronunciation of locks in the card, but there was no name to say who it was from. So if it was you, thank you so much. They are absolutely beautiful, and they make me smile whenever I walk in there and see them. So thank you very much. Thanks for being patient and waiting. I do appreciate it. I've now been getting messages from people asking how I am, and the more I get, then the longer I know it's been between videos. So it's awfully heartwarming knowing that people are worried about you and people are wondering how you're doing. It really, really is. So thank you everybody for any messages. I'm sorry if I've not got back to people. This thing with my vision and the eye thing, when it was really bad, was I just didn't touch my phone at all. So yeah, all read and all appreciated as always. So yeah, I'm gonna go see what John's up to, and get out in that sunshine instead of being stuck in this van, which is now 25 degrees. So take care everyone. I hope you're enjoying a lovely sunny weekend, and I shall catch you on the next video. See you later guys. Bye.